Good midnight viewers. Welcome to the Baroness Midnight Horror Review. Tonight, I will be sharing my thoughts on one of the most disturbing horror films you will see, The House That Jack Built. The House That Jack Built, 2018, directed by Lars Van Trier, starring Matt Dillon. This movie is for the horror movie extremists, and even for some of those, it might be too much. This movie centers around a serial killer, which many do, but this one really takes us through the eyes and experience of a serial killer. The main character of this movie, Jack, played by Matt Dillon, who's absolutely remarkable in this movie. It's part of the main draw for me is to see Matt Dillon play this role. Jack is sharing his experiences with us very graphically, and we're not really sure who he's sharing it to. It sounds almost like a psychiatrist or something of that nature. But he's sharing with us each kill in, like I said, the most graphic nature. But he's sharing this with us in a very artistic way. The point is that Jack believes that he's an architect, basically, and that killing is his life's mission. The way that he sees his kills is through an artistic lens. The movie's done with him sharing these experiences in 5 parts, kind of like a play. As I said, though, this is truly one of the most graphic films I've ever seen, with some of the most disturbing content I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of horror films. If you've seen Lars Van Trier films, you kind of know what to expect, but you really don't. This one goes to some levels that I never would think a horror film would even go. I mean, there's scenes with children, a lot of violence towards women. He's a serial killer. But again, we're taken on a journey with him through his eyes. He's passionate about what he feels is his life's work. And if you can get around the grittiness of this movie and the shock value, I think it's really an intentional movie. And I mean, I think a lot of movies are doing the same thing and have similar content. I just went to see the movie Trap, which is a M. Night Shyamalan film, his new one. And it's kind of cheesy, but it's kind of fun. It's definitely super mainstream, but watching it, I really saw some similarities between this very mainstream movie about a serial killer to this not so mainstream, very disturbing movie, The House That Jack Built. More just the character development. There's definitely common trends in sociopaths and serial killers in the media. In both films, the serial killer has some similar qualities and some similar mental health issues. Jack has severe obsessive compulsive disorder, which is a big part of The House That Jack Built. I'm a person who also has obsessive compulsive disorder quite severely, and I have to say it's something that's not represented in any media I've seen, except for horror films. And it's an unfortunate pairing that most of the gruesome murders that you see in movies have something like obsessive compulsive disorder and mommy issues, which I also have. With that being said, with the underrepresentation, even seeing it in this really horrific lens is something for me as a person that struggles with it. And it actually had some really accurate pieces of OCD, and along with some just different mental health disorders. So though it's not ideal to see these kind of representations paired with a psychotic killer, even seeing this small representation is something for me in connecting with the character. And I do think that that is a piece of the intention of the film. We know that's all sorts of problems in appropriating. I think anyone who would enjoy this film would know the problems around it and why a lot of people would not be able to handle or endure watching this movie. And I totally respect that this movie is not made for most people. It was, however, made for a viewer like myself. I love really disturbing content. I love to be taken places that I've never thought of. There's all sorts of reasoning why I think this kind of movie gets me and interests me, but I really enjoyed it. As I said, it is not for everyone. If you do not like really disturbing horror movies, don't give this one a chance. But if you're like me and you're searching for disturbing horror movies on Google often, this one is one you definitely don't want to miss. It really has so much artistic value. It really is a journey that's unforgettable. There's stuff you've never seen before. It's truly horrific. It also has some elements of humor and just kind of similar to American Psycho, and just maybe it's poking fun at the privilege of these kind of characters. But there's some scenes where there's some very obvious kill scenes and him kind of getting away with murder in broad daylight, and it brings a little bit of humor to these scenes. They pair it with a David Bowie song, Fame, and it's a really unforgettable scene of the movie, and I think it's kind of puts you in the character's shoes at that moment. Again, I don't think that it's seeking empathy for a killer. It's not necessarily making you feel sorry for him. You're just kind of with him through his life and how he sees it. And it's really disturbing, and it has a lot of cinematic value. And like I said, it's super artistic. It's really cool the way they did it. The way they brought in his obsessive compulsive disorder, as I mentioned, it's something I can relate to, but it's really clever, and it really goes with the mood and flow of the movie. I really think every moment of this movie is exhilarating. These are just a few of my thoughts on the movie The House That Jack Built. Again, it's for extreme, disturbing horror movie lovers. If that's for you, I highly recommend that you watch this film, and please do tell me about it. Please like, subscribe, and comment.